All HTML elements have attributes. Attributes provide additional information about elements. Attributes are always specified in the opening tag. Sometimes the opening tag is called the start tag. Let me start by giving an example of a tag with some attributes, and I'm going to put in a tag called the image tag. An image is a picture. So I need to tell it where to find the picture. So I'm going to put the attribute of source, and then after the attribute I'll put the equal sign, and I'm going to put the URL of the source. URL stands for Universal Resource Locator. So I'm going to put my website, see the uytkleader.com / and I put a picture on there already. Okay, there's where the picture is. So I have to close that tag. Now the image tag doesn't have a closing tag. It's got the opening tag, but it doesn't have a closing tag. Alright, so if I render this, see over here in the render screen, you see the picture. That's a handsome guy, isn't it? Anyway, so I'm going to add another attribute to the image tag. Put the space after the first attribute. Some people you'll see put quotation marks around the attribute, and that's okay. Like that. You can do it the same way. See if I render, it's not going to affect it in any way. You can put the quotation marks, or you can leave them out as long as there's no spaces anywhere in the value of the attribute. Then you're okay. But there shouldn't be any spaces in a URL address anyway. All right. So now I'm going to put another attribute, and I'm going to call this width, and I'm going to tell it how many pixels wide I want to make it. So let's say 200. All right. So when I render it, see, it made it smaller. Now I'm running out of space on the screen, so if I want to, I can bring this down to the next line, and when I render it, it's not going to make any difference. Yeah, the HTML browser doesn't care about spaces in the HTML code. Excuse me, it doesn't care about it being on the next line. Spaces it cares about, but it doesn't care if it's on the next line or not. So now I can also change the height. Now the problem is if I put the width and the height, it's going to distort the picture. So if I put the height as 200 as well, and I render it, see, it distorted. I lost some weight real fast there, didn't I? So I'm just going to guess and say 150. Maybe it's more like 130. There you go. That's a little bit better. Now notice I didn't put the quotation marks around these values, but I could if I want to. Now there's another tag that I can show you, and that is the anchor tag. I just used the letter A, and I put a space. You always put a space after the name of the tag. Notice I put a space after IMG. If you forget to put that space, it won't understand it. So let me show you an example before I do this anchor tag. If I go up here and take that space out and forget to put that space, when I render it, it doesn't know what to do. So the picture disappeared. You have to put that space. I'll go ahead and render it. Alright, now I'm going to put an anchor tag. So I'm going to put a space href, and this after the href attribute of the anchor tag tells it where to go when you click on the hyperlink that we're going to create. So I'm going to put it to my website. I'm going to send it to the main page of my website. Now, right now, if I just render this, see nothing, you can't see anything, because I have to put something between the opening anchor tag and the closing anchor tag to tell it what to display on the page for the user to see. So in this case, I'm just going to say visit my website. Okay, now if I render it, see it says visit my website, and it's waiting for me to click on it. So if I click on it, see, there it goes to my website. That picture was already on the website. That isn't part of the page we just created. Alright, so now if I want to go back, I'll go back there. So this doesn't quite look right next to it. I want to put it under it. So all I have to do is, between those two tags, I put a non-breaking space and render it. Maybe one more. See? So that's how you create the attributes for tags. Now each tag has its own specific attributes, but a lot of them have general attributes, and we'll get more into that later on when we talk about the specific tags.